Ladies and gentlemen, it took a total of 24 hours and a cumulative majority of 416 to 223 for both houses of India's parliament to pass the Waqf Amendment Bill. Now, on the face of it, there should be no grounds for criticism, at least in terms of following due parliamentary and democratic process. Fact is, both houses debated extensively. Time was given to representatives of all political parties to speak. And the bill was passed twice with a clear majority. However, it seems the war over Waqf is far from over. From Parliament, the battleground today has transitioned to the courtrooms. AIMIM's Asaduddin Owaisi, who is himself a barrister, and Congress MP Mohammad, both members of the Joint Parliamentary Committee, if you remember, that reviewed the bill, have now moved to the Supreme Court. This within hours of its passage. They are questioning the very constitutionality of the legislation. For the record, Mr. Owaisi, in his rather fiery speech in the Lok Sabha on Wednesday, had torn a copy of the bill to signify his opposition to the legislation. Take a look at what had happened. He is joining us in about 20 minutes from now.
सर, अगर आप हिस्ट्री को पढ़ेंगे तो महात्मा गांधी उस वक्त के व्हाइट अफ्रीका में सफेद फार्म अफ्रीका के कानून को महात्मा गांधी ने कहा था कि ये मेरा कॉन्शियंस इसको मानता नहीं, मैं इस कानून को कबूल नहीं करता हूं। तो महात्मा गांधी ने क्या किया, उन्होंने उस कानून को फाड़ दिया। तो मैं गांधी की तरह इस कानून को फाड़ता हूं। ये अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है सर। इस देश में झगड़े पैदा करने का काम बीजेपी करना चाहती है मस्जिद और मंदिर के नाम पर, इसीलिए मैं इसका कंडेम करता हूं और मैं आपसे गुजारिश करता हूं कि मैंने अपने 10 अमेंडमेंट दी हैं, आप इसको कबूल करिए सर, मुझे बोलने का मौका दीजिए और उस पर डिवीजन का मैं डिमांड भी करूंगा। थैंक यू सर।
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just Mr. Owaisi. Sonia Gandhi too is saying that the bill has been bulldozed and is a brazen assault on democracy. In fact, let me quote her. She says, the bill was, in effect, bulldozed through. Our party's position is clear. The bill is a brazen assault on the Constitution itself. It is very much part of the BJP's deliberate strategy to keep our society in a state of permanent polarization. Now, question is, ladies and gentlemen, if Parliament has debated it, amended it, and passed it, does challenging it in court disrespect the democratic process? Or are checks and balances critical for a constitutional democracy? My guests this evening, I'm welcoming all of them. Dr. Dharendra Tayal is a BJP spokesperson joining us on the broadcast. A.K. Vajpayee ji is joining us here in the studio. He's a Supreme Court advocate. He's also an LJP spokesperson joining us here on the broadcast. Tehseen Poonawalla is a political analyst. Thank you very much. And Sujata Paul, Congress spokesperson, joining us on the broadcast. Sujata, let me start with you. Sujata ji, fact is that the Waqf Amendment Bill, also now called the Umeed Bill, was extensively debated in the Joint Parliamentary Committee. Chalo, aap bol do that Joint Parliamentary Committee was bakwas, usme kuch kaam nahi hua, ladai jhagde ke siwa. I will agree with you there. But the debates were well informed and fiery in both houses of Parliament. 12 hours each in the Lok Sabha and the Raj Sabha, which means cumulatively the amendments have been debated for almost 24 hours. Then it is put to a vote, and by a simple majority, both houses of Parliament pass it for it to become law. Of course, the President has to sign it. So, Sujata ji, please help me understand why your chief is saying, or why Sonia Gandhi ji is saying, that the bill has been bulldozed through. Where is the need for one of your MPs and Mr. Owaisi to take the matter to the Supreme Court now? Bhai, this is the will of the people if the Parliament has passed it.
Frankly speaking, it is not the will of the people, and we know the background of this government. It bulldozes bills. There were ordinances earlier, but they had to be taken back, if you remember when I'm talking about the 3 farm laws. But when you talk about the JPC, the 44 amendments were not discussed clause by clause. Time was not given to the members of Parliament to go through it and study it properly before they could debate it. Yet, the debate took place. It was a great debate, as you saw, whether it was Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. And the government should realize that what Baba Sahib had said, that we cannot allow democracy to become majority tyranny. We should safeguard our democracy from that. And frankly speaking, when in Parliament, Mr. Amit Shah stands up and threatens every member by saying that how dare you, you will have to follow this law once it becomes law. That is not how the Home Minister should be talking, because he is in the government. He should be taking everybody along. And there itself is the trust deficit. And my last point is that, you know, if somebody is going to court, it has to be because there are unconstitutional provisions in it. We are attacking the minority and we are seeing what the government is doing. This is a state of permanent polarization that our society, our Indian society, is going to be subjected to if this is really put in place. Of course, it has been enacted. It will be signed by the Honorable President. But there is a procedure. Every law can be challenged in the courts. And if somebody is going to court, I don't think the government has should have a problem with that. Or should they?
Well, maybe the government doesn't have a problem with it, but the fact is you're talking about threatening tones being used in Parliament by Mr. Amit Shah, sure. But there are members of your own party and your supporters in the Parliament who said that Musalman isko sehan nahi karenge. So threatening tones were used there as well. It was a heated, fiery and well-informed debate. Therefore, my simple question is, why, if after 24 hours, when the Parliament has debated it so extensively, when MPs of our country have voted in favor of this bill, should this bill now be dragged to the Supreme Court? My simple point is this, simply because the people of India speak through their parliamentarians, and democracy, after all, is about numbers. But Mr. Tayal, would you want to come and respond to what Sonia Gandhi has said, what Sujata ji is saying, and more importantly, the fact that there are now at least 2 members of Parliament who have taken the bill to the court, as was expected?
Thank you so much, Shreya. Going by what has been going on, you know, to say this was bulldozed through, there is some data that I want to give you. And I just want to compare what happened in 2013 and now. So in 2013, also a JPC was formed. It had 13 members, now there were 31. It had 22 sittings, now there were 36. The memorandum received, you know, the representations received that time were as many as 32. And this time there were only 97,27,272. So to say bulldoze through. The depositions before the JPC that time were 18, this time were 284. And there is far more data that can happen. Also, the discussion in the Parliament went on for 12 hours in Lok Sabha, 17 hours in Rajya Sabha, which is a record. The previous was 16 hours for ESMA. So that is the kind of debate which has happened. The other point which Sujata raised was that the people were not given time to study so that they could respond. The Business Advisory Council, which has members of all the political parties and decides what will happen in the Parliament, sat down and they finalized, yes, we will discuss this today. So they did not say that, you know, this should be postponed, we will discuss it later or whatever. So the BSE decided it to be discussed that day itself. So this is something that theatrics to put it before the people and say, hame to time nahi diya. It doesn't work that way. They were a party to that BSE, the part of the BSE. So that is not happening. So now to go to the court, yes, that is their right. Nobody can prevent them from going to the court. But I think it is more to do with the fact that they have to now, whatever, they are the ones who have forever kept the country in a state of a polarized state. Now, when something is happening for everybody, BJP is working for the poor Muslim, and there is a good data point there from the Sachar committee. The Sachar committee said that there are 4.9 lakh properties under the Waqf, which are earning an income of 163 crores per annum, which should logically be about 12,000 crores. By extrapolation, now that there are 8.72 lakh properties, the income should be about 21,000 crores. Now, this is the money which will go for the welfare of the poor Muslim, the women, the orphans, all of them Muslims. But that the Congress cannot take, because that is the vote bank they have been looking at forever and forever and forever, and wants to keep them poor and downtrodden.
Okay.
Now, when BJP
Okay.
is working for them, they have a pain there.
Okay. Okay. Acha, theek hai. So essentially your argument is that Sonia Gandhi and Asaduddin Owaisi may accuse the BJP of keeping the polarization pot boiling. Your argument is, and I'll let Tehseen come in, your argument is it's actually the Congress and Asaduddin Owaisi who are keeping the polarization pot boiling by keeping it to the Supreme Court. Tehseen, would you want to come in here? Again, point is simple. I don't want to complicate it. You know, the Waqf Bill and the amendments have been discussed in detail in both houses of Parliament. There have been, the newspapers have made a lot of effort putting out details in print. My question to you this evening is simple. Parliament ne bol diya na. Parliament is supreme in this country. The Parliament has spoken. Why drag the matter to court now? Are you dragging it to court simply to ensure ki Hindu-Muslim chalta rahe?
Shreya, thank you so much for having me on the show. And I've been on all channels on the Waqf Bill. Some amendments I think are needed, were much needed, like the Aga Khania Waqf to the Bora Waqf, etc. Some are absolutely ultra-wise to our constitution. They violate Article 26, Article 7 Schedule, Article 300. We are not getting into the details of that. Now, see, Shreya, one thing that the BJP keeps saying, they say that the Parliament is supreme. That's not true, Shreya. The Constitution of India is supreme. Both Parliament and the judiciary get their powers from the Constitution of India. And the Constitution of India gives the Supreme Court complete rights to strike down any law that the Parliament makes. Let me give you an example. Tomorrow you say Parliament is supreme, so they say they'll take away Article 19, right to free speech, or Article 21, right to life and liberty, or Article 14, right to equality. The courts can come and strike it down. This is the basic structure of the Constitution. Now, the word basic structure is not in the Constitution, yet the courts have interpreted it. The Constitution is extremely clear on how the powers of our government and our governing bodies are divided. They are extremely clear. Even the most honorable chairperson of Rajya Sabha and the vice president of India said Parliament is supreme. And I dare say, with absolute respect, he is wrong. The Constitution of India is supreme. The first three words of our Constitution are "We the people." We the people are supreme. Now let's come to the next issue of that is governing. I am very, very disturbed with the fact that somebody going to the Supreme Court is considered to be polarizing. It's considered to be keeping the Hindu-Muslim pot alive. I don't even like Asaduddin Owaisi. I think the man is a BJP agent. I'm very clear on that. But he has a constitutional right to go. The BJP and the Honorable AG Tushar Mehta will oppose him. His lawyers will put up their points. And the Honorable Supreme Court will decide whether these amendments are ultra-wise to the Constitution. Some of them are ultra-wise to the Constitution, which I believe, and they will take their call accordingly. How can you call somebody anti-constitutional for going to the Supreme Court of India? By that logic, the Supreme Court of India is anti-constitution. One last point.
But
I was very disturbed.
But Tehseen, speaking of constitutionality, what was unconstitutional in the way the Waqf Amendment Bill, now called Umeed, was passed? There was nothing unconstitutional about it. If the basic structure is being shaken by the government of India, if the basic structure is being tampered with in Parliament, I understand. You can say the Constitution is being violated, therefore we will knock at the doors of the Supreme Court. If your right to liberty, if your right to freedom, if your right to speech is being snatched away by the Parliament, by brute majority, 100% you can go to the Supreme Court and say the Constitution is being challenged here. But in this case, where was the constitution challenge?
I'll explain that.
Where was constitutionality broken? There was an extensive debate that happened. The Parliament voted.
Yes, but there is violation of the Constitution in Article 26. I'll just give a very small example. For example, let's say that a Hindu brother of ours, or let's say Sujata Paul, wants to will all her money off to charity. She doesn't want to give it to her kids or her family members. There is no law that stops her because she's a Hindu or a Christian from doing that. Why should a Muslim now first take care of his family and then only will it in Waqf? And if that is the case, the family is important, why doesn't that uniform code apply for every other religion? So it is a violation of Article 26, the right of minorities to do charity, which is a fundamental right, not a legal right. That read with Article 300, which is the right to property, which is not a fundamental right, but a legal right, is violated. Now, Article 300, Shreya is a Hindu. Shreya decides, listen, I want to give it to Waqf. Why should it be stopped? Or somebody is a Muslim, a Christian. They decide to give it to a Hindu trust. Why should it be stopped? When that doesn't apply, why are you applying it in the case of this particular law, which means Article 25 is violated now? Let me go one step further. Not only is Article 26 and 25 violated, therefore read with that Article 14 is violated. Now, these are complicated legal arguments which will take place in the Supreme Court, and the AG will reply. Let me just give your viewers one answer on how Parliament was misled. I have the JPC report here. The JPC report is completely the 400 pages odd report, which Sujata Paul is right in one day they bulldozed it. And even in Parliament, they have the tyranny of the numbers, so they bulldoze it. That is how democracy works. But in the JPC, let me tell you what happens. The Tamil Nadu Revenue Secretary on that famous case, Tamil Nadu village and Tamil Nadu 100-old village and Mandir was claimed. The Revenue Secretary deposed before the JPC. He said nothing of this sort happened. It's on affidavit in the JPC. Yet the most honorable Minister of Minority Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, gets up and says, village was claimed, village is taken away by Waqf. Why didn't you put the JPC report out before the people of India? So all these things you put before the Supreme Court. How it's being lied, how it's being misled, how people are being lied to. This is on affidavit. The Revenue Secretary Tamil Nadu, if he's lied on affidavit before JPC, he's in contempt of Parliament. He can be punished. Look at the lies. So these are things we'll have to put somewhere. Now, one last thing. I want to strongly object to.
Tehseen, but is it a lie? Mujhe batao, Tehseen, is it a lie? Tehseen, is it a lie that the Waqf Board is a hugely corrupt body?
No, it's not.
And by the way, members in the opposition who voted against the Waqf amendments themselves are on record to say it. For example, Lalu Prasad Yadav.
Yeah. In fact, I think it's a very corrupt body.
If it needs cleaning up, it needs cleaning up.
And the BJP is encouraging the corruption. Let me prove it to you right now. The most honorable Home Minister in Parliament said in the Lok Sabha, he said in the Lok Sabha, that the Waqf had 18 lakh acres until 2013. From 2013 to 2025, now in 12 years, it got 21 lakh additional land, 21 lakh acres additional land. Now, please tell me, Shreya, from 2014 to today, who is the Prime Minister of India, in which more majority states are BJP government, and Waqf is doing corruption. How many corruption cases did the most honorable Home Minister and his government file against these corrupt Waqf members? As many as the Prime Minister's press conference is zero. Therefore, I'm saying the devil is in the details. The unfortunate thing, Shreya, is the research that I do and come in your show and come, opposition leaders don't do it in Parliament. That is the problem. That's what's happening. But this is what the Home Minister said on record. He said this on record. 21 lakh acres in 12 years. Baba, Prime Minister or Home Minister, kaun the desh ke? Where is the corruption happening under your government? And you know what they've done? They've legitimized this corruption. Let me tell you how. By putting the statute of limitations, now the Waqf, and this Waqf bill is not retrospective, that corruption that's happened 21 lakh acres in 12 years, as by the Honorable Home Minister of India, can never be taken back because the bill is not retrospective and the statute of limitations apply. They are legitimized corruption.
It can still be taken back. Are Baba, you can say, Tehseen, you can say it is not retrospective. But I can go to court today and say this is disputed.
But the statute of limitations
you can open the case again.
No, the statute of limitations apply. The limitations come in now. But can I say one point? I just have one point. I've been waiting to say that. I want firmly on record place my objection, my serious objection to what the Honorable Speaker of the Lok Sabha has been doing, Om Birla ji. His attack on Sonia Gandhi, who's not a member of the House, was unprovoked, was unexpected, was not right. She is not a member of the Lok Sabha. It is below the dignity of the Speaker. He commented personally on Rahul ji and Priyanka ji. He is the Speaker of the House, not a BJP Karyakarta. The Honorable Prime Minister has to bow before him when he comes to the Speaker, to the House. It is unaccepted the kind of attacks that the Speaker is doing. He's not a political post. He needs to refrain and not do this. It's not acceptable. Please uphold the chair on which he's sitting. It's a very high institution.
Just to give you context on why Tehseen is saying what he's saying, because after Sonia Gandhi's comments were made public, there were leaders from the BJP who said Sonia Gandhi maafi mango, etc., which is why Tehseen is saying what he's saying. A.K. Bajpai ji, आप जो है Supreme Court के advocate हैं, you are also member of the LJP?
Yes, I am the chief spokesperson of the party, and now I have a serious objection and a strong objection about the statement which Sonia Gandhi has given. How she can say that there is assault on the Constitution? The parliamentary process permitted all these things. And it is a constitutional mandate to make law like this. And we are not making any law. We are making certain amendments. What happened in 2013? When 56 amendments were brought by them, nobody has objected. Why they are objecting to the amendments? Number one.
Maybe because आप लोग मुसलमानों के खिलाफ माहौल बना रहे हैं, वो लोग नहीं बना रहे थे.
I will just demonstrate. We are doing nothing. We are just trying to stop the mismanagement part, corruption part, and the most important part is that there was no object or purpose was defined under the 1995 Act. Now kindly see section 3, what we have done. Now we have defined the object and purpose of making or donating the land in Waqf. What is to be done? That's why the object was missing. Now see what we have added. In clause C of section 5, we said after the word welfare, the words maintenance of widow, divorced women, and orphan in such manner as may be prescribed by the central government. This was not there. So that's why this corruption and mismanagement and everything was there.
No, Vajpayee Saab, please help me understand this.
Yes.
There are some points that are being brought up by people who are opposing the amendments, and the matter is now in the Supreme Court.
Welcome.
है ना, they are welcome. वो तो उनका
Yes.
constitutional
Yes.
right है. There is
Yes.
nothing you can
Yes.
do
Yes.
about
No.
it. But दो तीन सवाल हैं जो बड़े simple हैं. एक सवाल even it's something that Tehseen has brought up as well. Fact is, if I'm a Muslim,
All right.
ठीक है,
All right.
and I want to donate my property to, say I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, right? I want to donate my property to the Waqf.
Yes.
Huh.
Very
Under
correct.
the new amendments, I cannot do it. I have
The
to be a
purpose
Muslim.
is there.
नहीं, एक मिनट. I have to be a Muslim for 5 years. ये कहाँ का तुक है? अच्छा, if as a Hindu I want to donate property or my money to Bangla Sahib, I can do it.
No, if
But I can't do it to the Waqf.
Kindly,
आप बताइए.
I will just explain. Now kindly see the purpose of the money which is to be donated to the Waqf. What is to be done? It is for the welfare of the Muslim widows.
एक हिंदू मुसलमान के वेलफेयर के लिए पैसा डोनेट नहीं कर सकता. That is what the amendment bill
If
is saying.
intention is not good, then it is not permissible.
Intention.
But kindly see, because
A
what
Hindu
is happening
donating money to a Muslim
After-
charity
One second.
is not good intention.
after 13 years of this experience, we have checked the entire record. We have received the complaint. The 1,000 cases are pending. The land is being distributed to the person who is not entitled for that. We have reached in the conclusion that it should be simple declaration is needed that I am Islam person and I want to donate, then they can do it. But 5 years restriction is there. So just you do not divert the issue or involve yourself in land scanner or land, some type of corruption in the land mafias, etc. That's why we have brought this provision. And only our intention is to regulate the thing and remove the corruptions. And we have also done one thing. Government land was being declared as a Waqf land.
Correct.
So we say no, unless the government land is not falling in the government, you cannot declare it as a land. And the section 40 was there. The surveyor will go and he will file a report and it will be declared as a Waqf land. That we have removed. Section 40 we have removed from there. We have repealed it. So now
Vajpayee
the
Saab,
transparent. Yes.
देखिए Vajpayee साहब, there are some provisions that are clearly good because the Waqf is a corrupt body. It needs cleaning up, right? All of us, I think, can agree on that. But there are some problematic clauses, and those problematic clauses are what the opposition and people like Asaduddin Owaisi are pointing out to say that ये मुसलमानों के खिलाफ जंग छेड़ दी है. These are not my words, by the way. These are his exact words in Parliament. One of the things they are saying is कि वक्फ बोर्ड पे इतनी मेहरबानी क्यों? That you want non-Hindu members, non-Muslim members also in
this is also wrong. We are working for all sections of the societies. We made a OBC commission, then EWS reservation, then SC/ST atrocity act, etc. So what I say is the government is working for the all sections of the society. So the allegation is wrong.
सवाल का जवाब दीजिए.
Yes, I am giving the answer. Answer is very clear that the government is working and it's a mandate of the government to work for the upliftment of the society, every section of the society.
So my question to you is the question that Tehseen has not asked this question, but Mr. Owaisi has asked this question, and many speakers in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have asked this question. Why is special treatment being given to Muslims and the Waqf board? Why is it that to administer the Waqf board, you need to have two non-Muslim members? Hindu charitable trust में तो ऐसा नहीं होता, Sikhs में नहीं होता, Jains में नहीं होता, Christians में नहीं होता.
I will answer.
तो हम पे इतनी मेहरबानी क्यों हो रही है?
I will answer.
Politics is about perception, sir.
No,
and the perception is you want to put Muslims in their place.
No. Answer is very clear.
Ji.
The Waqf board is not a religious body. It is a statutory body. Please understand. And we have not made much changes in this. Only except because the body, central body and the state body, there are members. So we want to regulate the things, nothing more than that. And suppose the government land is taken away, how we can take it? What they have done, you will shock to know that they say tribunal have no power to stay the operation of the order made by the board. That is here. So we have removed it. Unless, if the court has no power to stay the operation of the order, how it can work? So such clauses we have removed it for the betterment. So the beneficiary is there and they should get the benefit.
Tehseen, why do Muslims feel targeted? This is something that Amit Shah said on the floor of the House as well. So my question to you, why do Muslims feel targeted with the amendments? The argument is the Waqf board is not an Islamic body.
I agree with that part.
It has nothing to do with anyone going to the masjid and praying to their God.
No, I agree with that part. In fact, I myself am on a mandir board. So that is a ridiculous argument being made. That's why I'm saying the opposition does not make constitutional argument and it loses. This is a ridiculous argument. On the administration, what the Honorable Home Minister said was right. For example, a charity commissioner can look after a Hindu trust, a Jain trust, a Parsi trust, a Muslim trust. He doesn't have to be a Hindu, Muslim, Jain. That is against the spirit of secularism. If they go on that point, they will lose. That is a silly point to raise. It's a polarizing point. There I agree with the Honorable Home Minister of India. But I'll tell you where this is a violation of Article 14 and Muslims will not like. As you rightly said, anyone can donate the money to any charity. Like I said, Sujata can give it to a Hindu, etc. Here now it has to be a 5-year practicing Muslim for Waqf. That is against Article 14. Now, please tell me, how do you know somebody is a 5-year practicing Muslim? For example, somebody like me who's actually born in a Muslim family, but is a practicing atheist, whose grandfather was a Parsi. What am I? Am I a practicing Muslim? Am I a 5-year practicing? How do you define 5-year practicing Muslim? Then again, why is this charity business only for a 5-year practicing Muslim? Why can't, say, a Hindu give it to a Waqf or a Muslim give it to a Hindu trust? Why? That is also wrong. So I think on that line, Article 14 will strike him right to equality and Article 25 right to religion. And this provision will also be struck down. So the opposition is fighting a wrong battle on why should non-Muslims be on it. If two non-Muslims are on it, doesn't matter. In fact, you should have cornered the BJP. Now they're saying, good, that's a good amendment, 2 women compulsory on it. Great. Except ask the BJP, 12 years their government, most states their government, how many women did they put on the Waqf board? They didn't need a law for it. They also put 0 in. So these are the points the opposition should fight on. This 2 non-Hindus, see, I'll tell you why that is important, 2 non-Muslims. The land can be leased to anybody. It can be leased to a non-Muslim. It can be leased to a Hindu or Christian. So how does that matter? That's on administrative purpose. That is not the right point for to challenge the Waqf on. The Waqf bill on.
Okay. You know, the point is that the Parliament has made up its mind. The Parliament, as far as the Parliament is concerned, the amendments are now the new law of the land. Of course, the President has to sign them. Now the matter goes to the Supreme Court. There are 2 challenges to it already. 2 appeals in the Supreme Court. Possibly there will be more. We'll see how the story goes. Thank you very much, Dr. Tayal, for joining us. A.K. Vajpayee for coming to the studio. Tehseen Poonawalla and Sujata Paul. Thank you all very much, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's more. Do stay with us.